What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Smash JT. I just got finished watching the Apple keynote address going over the new iPhone 12 with 5G capabilities, and while the phones themselves seem impressive enough, at least when it comes to camera technology, I was looking at it from the eye of a gamer, and what is this going to present to gamers out there? The ever-expanding landscape of basically anyone who's everyone playing video games. And Apple announcing that they're going to be implementing far better games on the iPhone, like League of Legends Wild Rift. How this is going to completely shift the entire dynamic of the video game industry. And I couldn't help but thinking while I was watching this that Apple has no idea what they're doing when it comes to video games. For the longest time, I thought that phones would eventually overtake mobile games like the Nintendo Switch nowadays, but even before that, like the 2DS and 3DS, I was thinking that this was the next evolution in gaming. Everyone's got a phone, they all walk around with one in their pocket, so why not just, instead of buying a secondary device to play video games, use your all-encompassing cell phone to do that same thing? That's not what's happening. I mean, yes, you can play some games on your phone. Most of them are just time wasters, though. And you know what I'm talking about. I don't need to be remedial about this. But my frustration is with the technology that is present in phones today, especially phones like the new iPhone, the processor, the power behind it, the graphical capabilities, the GPU and CPU and everything they show off. And then the graphics just kind of look pretty basic. It looks cell phony. It doesn't look special. But the look is only part of it. I think if those of you who have watched me for a while know that I don't care that much about graphics. It's important to a degree, but most importantly is gameplay and is it fun. And I'm sure people who enjoy League of Legends will enjoy playing this mobile port of it. However it's going to work in the ecosystem of that, I don't care. I'm not a League of Legends player. I'm not going to try to pretend like I am. And there is a gigantic international audience of people that play that game. For them, fantastic. But it's all touchscreen. It's all the same problems we've had with mobile phone games from the get-go. I was not just hoping, expecting Apple to announce some sort of add-on device, not an external controller per se, but something more that captures around the entire phone on both sides of it, kind of making it like a mini Nintendo Switch, or maybe just a way to place your phone into a controller with all of the buttons and analog sticks on it, so that you could have a phone that is a video game system on the go. So many times they have swung and missed on this opportunity, and today's keynote when it comes to gaming was just that again. They swung and missed on an easy opportunity to capitalize on making their phones a video game machine that's capable of competing with the likes of a console like the Nintendo Switch on the go. Apple just doesn't care about games. They certainly care about cameras and pictures and videos, and I'm not going to argue with that. I love the quality of cameras that my iPhone 11 has on it. They show all this fantastic capabilities of the photos and everything that you can do with the Apple iPhone 12, and I'm just like, it looks good, but my phone makes them look really good too. So it's just hard. We're getting to the point right now, it kind of feels like next-gen consoles where, yes, there's a difference, but it's so minute to me that it's not technically worth upgrading. People will say, oh, you can get the 5G with it. It's like, my phone is blazing fast anyways right now. I don't necessarily need the 5G anyway. So from my perspective as a gamer and a fan of Apple, I was really looking forward to some sort of device that would implement gaming and take it seriously from their perspective, where it would make the leap from being mobile phone time wasters to being a competitive mobile phone gaming device. And They just didn't do that. And it seems so obvious to me. Now, I know a lot of people might be hearing this being like, oh, if you want those devices, you can just get the third-party add-on controllers and use those with your phone if that's what you really want. And I get that. I have some of them. I don't know where they are right now because I never use them, but I do have some controllers that connect Bluetooth to the phone and able to play the games. But it's just cumbersome. I don't carry around a controller with me, like a full-on game controller in my pocket with my phone. And if I was out, like, we'll say waiting in line at the DMV or I don't know, whatever kids do when they leave the house these days during a pandemic, which is rare, but just saying, eventually we'll get back to that point where we do go out. Like when I'm at Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con, I could be able to play a more interactive experience instead of just Pokemon Go or something. So there are parts of my life and places where I would use this, and they're just not implementing it. And those third-party controllers are great, but they don't work with every single game perfectly, and not every game has the capability to put the buttons where you need them to be and have them work perfectly. Whereas if Apple made a first-party device, it would be the pillar for games to be built upon as far as a controller is concerned, a universal remote for games to work with. So every single game coming to the mobile phone would implement a button scheme based off of Apple's remote control for their phone. It would make a lot of sense. And it could be something as minute as a tiny little 1-inch extension on this side and a tiny little 1-inch extension on this side and a tiny little sliver on each side to connect them, if you even want to do that, and just have it so it's a game system in your hands that you can actually play comfortably. And because Apple would be making them, they could make them different sizes to fit all of their different phones and see how that works. But right now it's cumbersome. If you need to get like third-party suppliers to get controllers for certain games, but they don't work with every game, and at that point you just throw your hands up and say, why don't I just take my Nintendo Switch with me? Not to mention the games that are available on the platform are lacking a lot of the entertainment and excitement that modern platform games give you from the console. And it's something that Apple kind of is half-assing. Like, they got League of Legends, which is, like I said, a very big name in gaming, but what else? Why is that interesting to us? Why should we care? What kind of effort is going into these games? It reminds me a lot of what Google is doing with Google Stadia, how they're just putting out games that are already existing on other platforms. Why would people get that and use that when they can play it on other consoles? Or even what Amazon is trying to do with their streaming service. The Amazon Game Studios is a mess with the games they're trying to release for it, and they're not really doing anything first-party proprietary that's making people want to go out of their way to get it. And Apple is falling into that same pitfall. It seems like Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo, they get it. They see the importance of first-party games. They see the importance of making them experiences worth remembering. But these other game companies are just trying to jump in on the billions of dollars of the expanding video game industry and hoping to snag some of that money for themselves because it's there for the taking. But they're not doing the work to get it. They're just saying, we have money, we're throwing ourselves into this race, and we want to get some stuff. Like what Apple's doing here with League of Legends. Hey, we're making games, and you can play them on your phone with this incredible processor. Great! Give me some sort of way to play it that works with a controller and physical buttons and ways to actually experience these games in a way that isn't just the same cell phone pressing on the screen and trying to play, especially an action-adventure game like League of Legends. I don't look at that as a prospect of something I'd even want to bother picking up, because to me, it's the same as any other mobile phone game. At least that's how I'm feeling about this situation. Maybe you feel different, but as far as the Apple event is concerned, it was fine. I mean, it didn't blow me away. It didn't make me want to throw out my iPhone 11 Pro to go get an iPhone 12 Pro. Yeah, it's a bigger screen on that if you want it, but I mean, at this point we're just splitting hairs with how high the quality is with these phones right now, and having a magnet on the back didn't really impress me. and those wallets that snapped on at the end. I just worry about that falling off and losing my credit card. So anyways, those are my thoughts on the Apple event when it comes to being a gamer and hoping for some sort of revolution from Apple to say, okay, we're putting our feet firmly in the ground of the video game landscape finally, and we are going to compete. They're not. They clearly swung and missed. Maybe next time, but as of now, it just feels like the same old with, I guess, 5G upgrade. For those of you who have waited to upgrade for a while, I guess it's worth it, but for people who have upgraded recently, I don't know. I don't know how fast you need your phone to be, but I'm not sitting around twiddling my thumbs waiting when I look to load up an internet page or play, when I do play video games on it, which is very rare. I never have lag anyways, so I don't know. I don't know. It was fine, but it didn't blow me away. I'll leave it at that. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and as always, you stay smashing.